Hey, when did you guys get here? You know who it is. It's your boy, Big Tank Hank, coming at you with a new live stream. I'm going to preface this first, y'all. I'm on a new schedule at my unit. This Friday is my last Friday for 4 weeks. So I'm going to have to figure out where to put this live stream for 4 weeks. Then I'll be back on Fridays for 4 more weeks. And then it's going to be repeat again. So y'all going to have to bear with me. But for my last Friday, to have Kasia, yes, to have on this show, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. You know, I indulged myself when I first got into the Bettas in a lot of her videos, Um, separating my tanks, the dividers, creative pet keeping dividers, the whole nine. She is a very integral part in our hobby. Very humble, very humble. But hey, that's a wonderful characteristic to have for someone who we know how inspiring she is. We know how much she does for us. Now, for those watching the replay, welcome. I'm glad you're here any way that you can be. Remember, also, I have a podcast. See it on the ticker below. Apple Products, Anchor, Spotify, also on Google Podcasts. Find it either under my name, Garrick Alexander, The Fishy Den, or Big Tank Hank. Now, let's bring her up. Kasia.
Oh, I think it's working. Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Kasia from Creative Pet Keeping. I've been on YouTube for quite a long time. I came from America to Chicago, where I started keeping guinea pigs, and I started my channel because of that. And then I ended up kind of diving into fish keeping, which was really fun. And because a lot of guinea pig videos helped me in the beginning, I thought that as I learn uh, to keep bettas and all the different fish that I have, I will kind of share the different trials and things that I learn along the way. And as I research stuff, I really enjoy sharing it with you. And surprisingly, a lot of you guys seem to really enjoy it because I've been on here for such a long time and I have so many people watching my videos, and it's an awesome privilege. And I'm happy to be here today in live chat, kind of hanging out. I usually don't come on live chats very often, so this is exciting. Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Well, welcome.
Do my little
Yes. Hey,
thing.
we're glad to have you here. Let's see. How many people starting off the day with you. Vibes Aquatics, Casual Aquatics. What's going on,
Ooh,
y'all? What's going on? Who else we got
hello.
in the door? Lonnie, aka Looney Tunes. Mexa Cali,
Ooh,
Fish Keeper. What's going on? Renee Decour. What's going on? Pepperland Creek. How do? Q Aquatics. Hey, ma'am. How do?
ooh. I don't know. I just feel
Patty.
like I should dance every time.
Hey, we're not mad at it. We'll take dancing, singing, the whole nine. Patty's Petite Tanks. Thank you for being here, ma'am. And thank you for dropping Keisha's link.
Yay. I
So,
appreciate it.
most definitely, man. We're so glad. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to you being on here. So give us
Oh.
a little rundown of how you got into the hobby. From the meager means to where you are now.
Oh, should I share the egg story? The fish
Yes,
tank egg story.
yes, because people
So
probably end up in the same place that I was when you told it.
so earlier we were chatting a little bit before the live stream, which is kind of fun because I'm always really shy. So I was like, oh, cool. Now I feel really comfortable. Like we're best friends now. This is great. And I was telling you about all my fish keeping adventures, kind of, sort of. And how it all really started is my grandpa had a little tank back in Poland, and it had some tetras in there, some guppies, some swordtails, and a pleco. And I used to watch that tank all the time. And then one time I decided that I thought the fish were hungry and I dropped an egg into my grandpa's tank. Luckily, it was a whole egg. It was not like a cracked egg. But then my grandpa was like, "Why is there an egg in my fish tank? Like, what is happening?" So that was me. So I was always interested in trying to help out, even if sometimes helping out wasn't the best way. But I guess that's how we learn. We make mistakes, even if it's putting eggs inside. And then after that, I started keeping more fish. I have one sad betta story where I did have a betta in a bowl. That was like my very first fish, but I was a small kid at the time. And I had a betta, and there was a pleco in there. And I went to summer camp, and unfortunately, everyone kind of forgot about it, and it passed away, which was really sad. And then as a kid, that was like a good harsh lesson, not like in a good way, but something that I learned from that motivated me to try better. And I guess that little guilt kind of drove me to take care of my fish to the best of my ability now. And I try to help people as I try to learn and be better myself. It's
And
kind of
that's a
my
good
story.
motivation.
Thank
That's
you.
a good motivation. It's like, and it's bad that sometimes that's what we have to experience tragedy in order to rise from the flames like a phoenix. But that's how it happens sometimes, unfortunately. But that's cool though. And the fact that you chose better and you wanted to make things better for better,
Yeah,
you know.
it's true. Because I think one of the things that when I started off, like I think 11 years ago, no one wanted to keep bettas in community tanks because everyone was saying that you can't. They'll murder all the fish, which is partially true. Like depending on what happens and how aggressive your betta is, that could happen. But you can keep a lot in community tanks, and I think that encourages people to keep bettas in tanks versus bowls, like to take that next step. And people were kind of giving me a hard time when I started out. When I first made my betta community tank video, I had some people with angry comments that would be like, "Don't do that. Like your betta's gonna murder everybody. That's a bad example you're setting." But I kind of stuck to it because I really believe that like bettas deserve to be treated like other fish. They deserve more space. They deserve to have an interactive environment. And I think now, like, we're at a point where people are buying expensive tanks just for their bettas. They're spoiling them, and I'm like, this makes me really happy. Like, the hobby's like going in such a nice direction and in such a positive way.
Better lives do, man.
Oh,
Most definitely.
and
I
we're
think this
trying to
20
do
long
better.
right here behind me. This 20 long right here used to be a better tank.
Oh,
What say we need to do better? Yeah, I agree. I agree. Patty, I see you. The better love is everywhere now. So
oh,
do you still breed your better or you
yep.
just have them now?
I still breed. I just like to take breaks in between for two reasons. One is I'm a little lazy and doing all the water changes on all the jars is tiresome. So I just like to have a little break. So I'm like, oh, this is great. I don't have to deal with jars just for a couple months before I do it to myself again. But also, I like to try to have time in between that I can look back at my spawn and see what I could do better or reflect on it a little bit. Sometimes I'll even look at my old videos and rewatch stuff and see like if I can spot things. And then I try to see like what can I do better? What can I learn from this? And in a future video, how can I better try to teach people something different or show people something the same thing but maybe in a different way. So that's why I kind of like to pause in between. That's my little that's my dehumidifier that's beeping. It got full.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if my microphone is picking up on it.
Yes, we can hear it.
Oh,
It's all
the
right.
random
Go.
sounds. I guess
Most
I should
definitely.
explain. So Daniel, my husband's playing video games over there. So that's the random clicking sounds. Then we got all the fish tanks behind me. Banana, my dog, is under the desk, and then we got the dehumidifier. So all the things.
You
And
said banana?
Yeah, her name is Banana. Actually, I can get her to come up here. Come here, Banana. Oh, oh, we got a puppers. It's a
Yes,
border
that was
collie.
not the first time Banana has done that.
Yeah,
She's like, wait, I can
that's her
come up.
favorite. She's like, that's my favorite. She's gonna rub my tummy. I love getting my tummy rubbed. It's my favorite thing. I will wake up from any nap.
She a border collie?
Yeah, she's 8 years old. She's a little rescue puppers. We sometimes bring her to
Okay.
Aquashella because she loves getting petted by everybody. So she'll sit at the Aquashella booth and just like on the chair and be like, "Love me. I want love." Yeah, you're not a better fish, but you're
Backroom
cute.
Aquarius. That's cool. So we have a little Yorkie by the name of Teeny.
Oh, I love little dogs because
Teeny
they're cute.
is ooh, Teeny is 13, 14 years old.
Oh.
Teeny's got some age on him. He's been around for a minute.
Mm. That's very close to my cat Mookie. He's 12 years old. Oh,
Mookie.
Birdie is a great dog for 17 years. Aw. That's a nice time to have your dog. 17 years. Oh, that's
Exactly.
good.
I had one. Oh my God, how long do we have this dog? She strolled up to our house when I was little. She was a little mutt, and my mother didn't want her, but my grandmother would sneak food to me to take outside and throw to her. And she was under our porch for a long time. You know, we had the old school country house up on the cinder blocks. So we were sneaking and feeding her. Before you know it, she was a house dog, and she house broke
Ah.
herself.
Oh,
She
that's
house broke
cool.
herself because when she got there, she was a puppy. You know, she had not been trained, but she never was a used the restroom in the house dog. That was very cool. And
Wow.
I had her from fourth grade. I was in the fourth grade when she came to the house, and we had to actually put her to sleep. I was in my early 20s. She started having issues with um
Mhm.
controlling her bowels and urine, and got hit by a car, and her legs wouldn't really like
Oh.
recover. She had surgery, but her legs wouldn't really recover all the way. And during that time, they weren't doing the little doggy wheelchair.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah,
Oh.
we wasn't gonna pack her around. So but she lived a wonderful life at our house. She did that. She did that. Thunder Aquatics, what's going on? What's going on?
Oh, hi. Hello,
Nola
everyone.
Dolls, Nola Dolls and Aquatics, what's going on? Are you new? First time I saw that name. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Yay. I shared on my
What?
Instagram story, I think 40 minutes ago, hoping that maybe some people will come from Instagram and join us. So who
Okay.
knows?
3G, what's going on? Welcome in. Welcome in. So right now, what is your favorite? Uh, I don't know if this question is gonna be too much. I'm just gonna ask it. Your favorite thing about the hobby right now?
Ooh. Ooh, I got an interesting one. Um, I think my favorite thing about the hobby right now is I think there are more conversations and communication being had between people who produce products for fish and the consumers, and sometimes that is through luckily YouTubers, because we get to talk to brands and stuff and we get to pass along messages, and I'm hoping that that could help bridge the gap to help products be more geared towards what people truly really want versus what companies, to the best of their ability, try to guess and assume that we want. So I'm hoping that because of that, changes could be made, because I remember when I used to talk to Fritz Aquatics, I told them that it would be cool that they could combine Indian almond leaf extract with a betta conditioner, and they did. They made one. So now there's a Betta
Okay,
conditioner
okay.
with Indian almond leaves, and like that's like together combined. And I was like, that's such a cool thing that we can do that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
What's
And
your
yes,
favorite
the conversation is the most important part. My favorite thing is that it seems the right word. Yes, I can use seems. There seems to be so many more people coming into the hive by being interested. I mean, it
thing?
just,
I agree.
like what am I comparing it to? You know, especially that I'm on YouTube now, so I'm gonna have access to more people in the hive as opposed to when I was just this fish guy that was the strange guy, in town, and you know. But just right now, though, it seems to be a spike. Seems to be a spike, which is a very good thing, and it's a good thing for mom and pops. Mom and pops seem to
Mm,
be a little more popular also.
yeah, that's good.
And I'm liking that. I'm liking that. You have less of the big box cramming, you know, kind of piggybacking on what you said though,
Mm.
cramming things that you don't necessarily need, you know, just cramming it down people's throats. You know, there's
That's
less
true.
there's less of that because there's more people, saying, "Hey, we like this. Let's try that. Let's try this." And the company's trying to gear themselves towards that. It's pretty cool. See, I keep adding stuff to the list, so
Mm. I feel like the small mom and pop shops were kind of ahead of the game because they've always communicated directly to everybody.
yes, most definitely. And the answering the questions for the inquisitive minds always done better by the mom and pop LFSs. I mean, the big box
Mm.
stores you have, some of them have some training of sorts. Then you have the others that not so much. But when people started from passion, you was a fish keeper beforehand. Most were fish keepers beforehand. So you've been down that road. You've wondered about it. You've seen it. You've done it.
Mm.
You make friends. Hey, what's going on? I see you back. That feels good. They remember what kind of fish you like or what kind of food you feed. I mean, that's just a wonderful thing. To feel inclusive and they remember you. Don't just want your money, but your money keeps the doors open. But they don't just want your money.
That's true. That's
It's a good
true.
thing.
I really like that. And I think it's also really cool to see certain YouTubers that also have fish stores and businesses too. Because that's a cool thing to see creators combine the local like you see like Flip Aquatics has a shrimp he sells, and Corey from Aquarium Co-op has a shop, and there's so many cool places. Mm.
Yes, most definitely. And to have accessibility. Melvin, what's going on? Gig Boy, part of what I try to do on my live streams is just that. Like, we see them, we feel a kinship, but some people sometimes feel that they're
Oh.
out of reach. You know, they're out of reach. We don't, and I'm like, well, hey, let me try to get in touch with this
Mm.
person so they can be sitting in front of you and show you that they're regular people. That they have the same likes, the same
Oh,
dislikes, and the hobby, and they have personal lives, and it's just the connection. The connection is very important.
that's true. That's true. I think I only show people like 20% of my personality just because I can't really fit everything in a fish video. And I feel like it's about the fish anyways. It's not always about me. So I don't have a sometimes chance to do that. So it's
I
cool.
got you. I got you very much so, and I'm glad to have you on. And let everybody. Hey, y'all, ask some questions. Ask some
It's
questions. What
true.
you what do you want to know about it? Ask some questions. She's here. She's here in
Yeah,
front of you.
I'm hanging out with you guys. We're having a fun time. We're having a happy group.
How
It's a
many?
Friday night.
Right? How many tanks do you have? And give us a view of all the types of fish that you have right
Ooh. So I'm at, I think, 16 tanks. I try not to have too many because I don't know who decides that what too many is. I'm not sure, but in my
now.
head, I'm trying to keep it like around 16. Like sometimes I'll add an extra one or take one away, but that's where I'm at. Because for an apartment, I'm always worried like what is too much for my little room. But predominantly right now, I have a lot of dwarf cichlids. So my favorite fish behind me right here are the Placidochromis. That's my biggest tank. That's 55 gallons. That's my like fancy big boy tank that I get excited because all my other tanks are tiny. And then I have my favorite, the Ocellatus Gold. I have the blue Ocellatus. I have Chelinachromis. I have Crebensis. I have guppies and shrimp and tetras and my bettas as well. Lots of bettas. I don't actually have wild bettas at the moment because I've realized that my water is a little bit too hard and mineral rich, that it doesn't seem to work very well for wild bettas. Normal bettas, like domesticated betta splendens, do okay, but wild bettas kind of struggle. And I feel like the best thing for me to do in the future is use RO water and then remineralize it myself so I can control the pH better. And then I think I like to come back to keeping wild bettas because I feel like I could do better with them. So I'll kind of revisit that when I figure things out and improve. But that's kind
Gotcha.
of like the overall rundown. I don't remember all the names of my fish. That's why I have little labels and everything because my memory is not very good and I rotate fish all the time too for breeding.
Well, that's
So
cool.
that was my off the top of my head list.
So what as far as your wild bettas, what complexes do you prefer?
Ooh, my favorite, I think is always going to be Betta mahachiensis or the Betta mahachai because I feel like they're easiest in terms of keeping all the different wild bettas. Like they're the easiest of the bunch, for me at least. And I always like what's easiest because I don't like keeping fish. Oh, and you changed the picture. Ooh, it's fancy. All the different bettas. But
And
I also
tutors.
ooh, there's actually many wild types I've never kept before. I have the book. I have the big fat book of all the wild bettas, and I've been kind of perusing through it. But really, until I figure out a better handle on my water, that's something I'm gonna kind of pause on and not
Gotcha.
take any. Yeah, because I don't want to. I don't want my fish to be not entirely happy.
Most definitely.
And
It can definitely be a struggle. It can be a struggle.
mm,
Oh, what Backroom Aquarius says, what live food cultures do you keep besides fry sized?
currently, I just have my fry size because I'm kind of I feel like people say this all the time for a lot of fish keepers around the Chicagoland areas that we're kind of spoiled because we have not only a lot of fish stores, but we have a lot of fish clubs and then we have the fish swaps. So that means that there's always either fish stores carrying certain live cultures, so I can buy like a bag of black worms, or sometimes my fish club brings in glass worms, which I've never been able to get anywhere else. And they're kind of cool because you can keep them in the fridge and they'll kind of hibernate in the fridge and then you bring them out as you need to feed. So they'll stay fresh for like a couple weeks that way.
Oh,
So I've been just
okay.
getting everything kind of like as on a as needed basis. Like I even there's a store called Aquarium Adventure where I can get a little bag of Daphnia that I can just later just feed to my fish, and then when I want more Daphnia, I just get it at the store. So we're kind of spoiled that way. I don't have to mess around with keeping too many cultures at the moment.
Right.
Ooh, I saw the question pop up about black calvus and compressiceps. Do I keep other Lake Tanganyikan cichlids? I've actually never kept those yet. I'm slowly diving into the Tanganyikans, like one or two species at a time. So I haven't branched out just yet. A lot of the times I'll check out what Jason has because he's been keeping and rotating a lot of different types. Me, I'm a little slower. I take my time, so I haven't really figured them out yet or tried them.
Gotcha.
Oh, we have more
Q Aquatics has
questions.
a question.
Mm. Do you feel there are any advantages or disadvantages of being a woman in the fish keeping hobby? Ooh, this is a good question. Um, I think I feel like I'm trying to collect myself. Hmm. I I kind of feel that as a woman in the hobby, we have to try a little harder for people to take us seriously sometimes. And I don't know if maybe that's something that personally happens to me because sometimes when I get excited and I talk to people, either I'll forget specific like fish species or specific details. So I don't know if that makes me sound like I'm a little airhead or like, oh, she's bubbly little blonde. Like she doesn't know a lot. So I feel like I'm always trying to like go the extra mile to prove to people that like I'm not a fish expert, but I've kept fish for a long time and I research and I try my best. So I feel like that makes it hard a little bit because I've had people like like I've walked up to them and be like, I would like to purchase this fish, and I would act like try to act like know what I'm talking about, and they would still explain to me like, okay, so, this is, I'll just say like ocelotes, be like, this is a ocelotes. They live in the shell. They're really mean. They're gonna bite you. I'm like, I know I breed them. Like, can I please, can I please have some? So that happens, and I do also sometimes get a little stressed out about people judging appearances because people will comment on how different female fish keepers look, and I know I'm not a super model. I'm a little like chunky potato, so a little bit, and I, I I think it's important for me to like try my best to feel comfortable and not let anyone um make me feel bad, but also try to let other like young girls know that it's okay to be yourself. So that's why in some videos I'll wear makeup and in some videos I won't wear any makeup, and I'll try to be more like on normal looking on a day-to-day basis because I want to be like it's okay either way, because I think a lot of girls and women see like really pretty perfect looking people on social media all the time, and then if you feel pressure that you have to look a very perfect way. And I think we're all awesome in our own ways, and we all have insecurities. I'm insecure about myself, all the time, but we're all gonna do our best. And I hope as women we can all support each other and yeah, do our best. So that's my little. Oh, I think the live stream might have frozen for me.
Gotcha.
Oh, let me check.
It's glitching. It's doing it in two different ways.
Oh,
I'm frozen down here. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you
I'm
now.
frozen
But for a
down here,
while,
and you're frozen up there.
oh, I hope that I'm frozen in like an okay way. I'm down to not like because that could happen.
No, no, you good. Oh, Garcia
Oh,
Aquatics, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Patty's Petite Takes has a question. What is the minimum age you consider respectable for a betta?
oh, for to breed, a minimum age for breeding a betta or keeping a betta. I wonder, because for breeding a betta, some people breed them as young as 3 months old, but I like to wait till they're around 8 months to like 12 months, which I know seems a little later. But I feel like if there's going to be any genetic issues or anything wrong with the fish, it'll start to show up a little later. And if it shows up, then I don't want to breed that fish because I don't want to breed more unhealthy fish and produce unhealthy fish. So I like to wait a little bit. And I also hold back some of my fish from different spawns just so I can see them grow up and see, like, is everything okay? Are we getting tumors? Like, what's happening?
Yes. I earlier that ran across my mind. I was going to ask you about. Have you experienced? I had one situation with a female better with um, tumor on the side of her face, but she was the only one that happened to.
Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced that? Um, Dragon scale. How do you feel about that?
Oh, tumors are becoming way more common in all the beta types. I mean, dragon scales a lot, metallics a lot. It's something I am worried about. That's why I check. And a lot of breeders that I've spoken to, or importers, when they import orders, they're always checking fish for tumors. And I currently have an older male betta that has a tumor. He's kind of in his little senior betta tank, and I'm considering making a video about him just to show how I take care of a senior betta, how I simplify his tank. There's no like filter in his tank, there's no water movement. His tank is very simple and quiet, and he's just living by himself with his little snail friend. And it's possible to keep a betta with a tumor for alive for, I guess, however long it's going to be comfortable, because it really depends on the bettas. Some bettas you have to euthanize them quicker because you have to keep in mind, like, are they suffering, are they uncomfortable? Some fish you can wait a little, like I can with my male. So I've been thinking about making a video about him, but I worry because he's got the big tumor on his head that I wonder if, like, people will get really sad and upset when they see him. But he's doing okay. He's eating very well. He eats, he poops, he just hangs out. He's an old little man better.
Now you'll have those people that'll actually you can break it down and explain exactly what you're showing, and they're still gonna miss exactly what you said and start to come in on what they see. So those people still
Yeah.
exist. So you just have to do it if you go do it.
Oh, so we got some clarification from Patty. Respectable lifespan for a beta. So I used to believe that betas should have a much bigger lifespan, but currently, with how much heavily line breeding and inbreeding we are seeing in betas, I think realistically 2 to 3 years is their lifespan right now. If you look at show betas as well, they're power growing these fish to a full adult size at 3 months already. So by 12 months, nobody that's a show breeder is going to really keep their older males anyways. So they just keep them, breed them at their prime, and then they don't have a need for that fish. When you're breeding fish to breed quickly and you don't have a need to keep them long term, then you don't factor in breeding for a fish that will live a longer life, healthier lifespan. So we're breeding fish that start to deteriorate after 12 months. You're seeing, like, their scales, and you're seeing a lot of aging at as early as sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years, which is sad. I feel like that's happening with guppies. That's happening with some goldfish, where we've bred them so intensely that we are kind of ruining and pushing them too far. But hopefully, I think we might maybe move out of that, and as we continue to make videos, it's like all the whole community as a whole, we can encourage people to really think about breeding and ask questions, and think about the future of the fish too, because if we ruin the genetics now, we might not have bettas in the future, because we could push them so far that they may become infertile, and we could have so many big issues pop up. So that's my
Right.
little, like, my little soapbox I got on there, and I was like, betta genetics. It's important.
Definitely, we agree. Got another better genetic question here.
Let's see. Genetics question. SBD females be able to breed, and could the fry inherit the issue? Are you referring to, is SBD swim bladder disease? Because that's what I'm guessing that stands for. I'm just gonna ask for clarification, Because if any fish that I had has swim bladder issues, I wouldn't be breeding that fish. But that could be another. Uh, So we'll see. Oh, and Garcia Aquatic says, "Great meeting you at Aquashella." Yay! I'm always very happy when I get to meet everyone because it's very easy to forget that when you make videos that there's a lot of other people there that are watching because it just feels like I'm making a video for myself sometimes, talking to myself, and to actually meet people and get feedback on my videos or hear about your stories and the type of fish you keep and the experiences you've had, like that's really cool because I don't get that often. Like I'll get that a little bit in the comments, but in person, like it's really exciting, and it always makes me, after like every Aquashella, I get so excited to make videos like more than usual because I'm like, yeah, I know who I'm making my videos for, kind of, sort of.
Right. And
Yeah.
he said, yes, swim bladder disease.
Yeah, so if there's fish that are showing like swim bladder issues, um, at this point, because I'm really careful, I wouldn't be breeding them unless it was fry that had these issues early on that we corrected for like later on. Because sometimes if you overfeed baby brine shrimp, you could have issues with the brine shrimp pushing on the swim bladder. So if they recover from that and then they're fine, then later on, I would still consider breeding, but um oh, there's another question. What's your treatment for bloated stomach males? Was trying to condition them, but they're so stuffed. Um, I would make sure that the food that you're predominantly feeding, that you want them to really eat large amounts of, would be food that has a high water content. So, oh, I'm getting thumbs up. I'm just checking if everything's cool. But the
Nah,
water,
yeah, you
the
good.
high water, the high water content, so things, bloodworms are really good. If you're feeding a lot of pellets and a lot of flakes, that could cause some bloating. So I would try more frozen or live foods and feed heavier on those and feed less on pellets and flakes. If you only have access to pellets, I would soak them first and feed them more frequently. So much smaller meals, but do it maybe like 3 or 4 times a day versus like 2 times a day. That will help with the bloating, and then making sure that your betta gets flaring every day. That will help too, because I notice all my bettas poop after flaring, which is funny because when I'm taking pictures of them for my website, they're always pooping, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to take nice pictures of you so you can go to your new homes, and here you're making a poop right in the middle of my photo. I gotta like Photoshop the poop out. I've done that before.
You can show people how healthy they are. They can analyze the poop.
Sometimes if it's in a video, I'll leave it in. Sometimes they'll be like, well, it's natural.
Oh, Aquafark is in the house. He says, what would you do about a nasty rash? Not on my. Oh, come on now, Aquafark. I walked into that one.
You gotta go to your local CVS and ask the lovely like lady at the pharmacy.
Little hydrocortisone,
Yeah.
Put some dirt on it. When I was little, boy, put some dirt on that.
Really? For me in Poland, I don't remember what it was, but there was like a specific leaf that you were supposed to put on like your cuts or burns, and it was soothing, and it was just an herbal leaf that was like my grandma used to tell me to do it, but I don't remember what it's called. Ooh, another question. Talking about dragon scale, do they all eventually develop the covering on the eye? I've stayed away from breeding them for this reason. Um, I'm not sure because I've actually not worked with dragon scale, but I do know that oftentimes with those as well as the metallics, there's a lot of hyperpigmentation, and that will cover the eyes too. So either the hyperpigmentation will cover the eyes, or the scales will. And I really haven't looked into that one that much, so I don't really know how to answer that question. But that's okay. That's good that you're
and
looking into it before breeding.
No, there's a possibility that your dragon scale betta may not get a complete eye covering, and yes, the hyperpigmentation is a more ready occurrence. I actually, speaking of aquafunk, he had me speak of dragon scale in one of his videos that he made about,
Oh.
you know, that being an issue in bettas,
Mm.
and I was speaking on people being more vigilant and paying more attention to that being an issue, and
Oh yeah.
whether you want to get into breeding bettas or not, or furthering that in itself,
That's true
but you
because I
can.
remember. Yeah, because I remember when people on Aquabid used to sell the diamond eye bettas, which were the bettas that had their eyes fully covered, and because they were pure, like pure white, they would call them diamond eye. But these fish couldn't see, so they were charging more for something that looked exotic, but was actually making the fish's life more difficult. And I was like, no, don't do
Ooh.
that, no. So I'm glad that like we as like
That's a
YouTubers we get to help a little bit. We're helping the hobby, just, and it feels good to the best of our
yes.
ability.
And you using the word more exotic. This is off the subject, but still on the subject. They have, you have the pit bull terriers, and they developed the bully breed,
Yeah, I've seen
and
those.
they have the exotic
Yeah, the
bullies,
exotic.
which the ones that they are charging the most for are actual Down syndrome animals.
They look like
Speak,
frogs because they're
yeah,
like,
they're actual Down syndrome animals, and people are buying these dogs for these absorbent prices and breeding them, and it's like, oh, dude, the dogs. You got a dog that could live 17 years, and they'll go into like living 3 to 5 years, and people are not being educated on this. Oh man, stop
yeah.
buying them, and people stop selling them. Okay, I'm off that soapbox. I'm off that soapbox.
But it's important because animals suffer, and sometimes we don't notice that. And I think that could happen to anybody because when I had my betta in a bowl when I first started out, I was not aware of the suffering that I inflicted on my own pet. So sometimes we just don't know better, and you know we just got to learn and be open, I think.
And yes, and don't hang somebody immediately, because we sometimes jump too soon, people. While I got y'all listening, we sometimes jump too soon,
Mm.
to critiquing and criticizing. They may just not know. Approach them with
Yeah,
love and compassion, give them the information, and then let them go from there. And if they say, hey, don't tell me nothing, yeah, then you get them. No, 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 I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, sometimes people just don't know. They're led by the wrong people, in the wrong time.
mm. That's why I don't ever argue with people in my comments, because I'm just like, okay, you see my video, you see my thing, like you can do what you want. Like I'm not gonna try to force you to do anything, if you don't agree, because then it becomes tiresome over time. So it's like just let people do. Once you accept that people are still gonna do their thing, I feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, and then you can continue giving all of your energy to the people that are like interested and want to change. And then yeah, then it feels better because
Right.
you don't get mad at the people who don't. I just let them be. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you'll change, maybe you won't. That's up to you. That's okay. As long as you're hopefully not
Right.
inflicting harm to an animal, then I'm just like, it is what it is, because we all make mistakes.
Pick the battle, exactly. Jeffrey Watts, welcome in. Got another question. Not that one. There we go.
Ooh.
Will live baby brine shrimp, if fed to better adults, work like a laxative?
From my experience, it hasn't that much, because I feed baby brine shrimp pretty often, so maybe I wouldn't have noticed a difference. I do know that Daphnia works more as a laxative, and then even though I see a lot of people saying don't feed green peas to bettas, I still believe that that's okay. I know that bettas are carnivores and they're not actually going to be able to digest the green pea, but the whole point of the green pea is just to be the laxative. It's like the medicine. They're not supposed to be part of the betta's actual diet. So if you're using it one time to help a betta poop because it's constipated, then I think it's okay. Because it's like for the same reason, like Pepto Bismol is not like you're part of your normal diet. You just take it when you have an upset tummy. So you could use, Daphnia, but if you don't have access to certain foods, because I know some people don't have access to things, a green pea that a betta can eat will help. That will poop. Oh my gosh, green peas have made my bettas poop so fast. And just feed it like one time. Don't feed it as actual diet, just as like a thing to help your betta. Oh, and I see another question.
Hold
Do you
on.
feel the
I
industry?
think you froze. Some of us may.
Oh,
Can you hear
I'll
me?
pause. Yes,
Okay.
we just gotta let it catch up for a second. Oh, you've disappeared, but I'm still here, so I don't know if I'm frozen. Maybe I'm looking back at myself on another live stream. I might still be talking. So in case I am, I will try to entertain you guys a little bit. Oh, you're
Okay.
back.
We back. We back.
Yeah. I was trying to talk to everyone to keep him company because he
Gotcha.
disappeared
Gotcha.
for a little bit.
Yeah, it told me something went wrong, and it did.
But for the question about the betta shifting, the industry shifting away from bettas with long fins, I think more breeders are working with a lot of short fin bettas, but when it comes to what people want to purchase, I've actually spoken to a lot of the importers that come to Aquashella, and they told me that still half moons are their most popular fish in terms of what sells. So the long finned are still very popular in terms of purchasing, but I'm trying to promote the short fin better because I just feel like they have an easier life. There's not issues with fin rot, no issues with fin nipping. So I try to encourage people to get excited about placats, but I also think half moons are very cool too. So they're not a bad thing. I just feel like too much of everything, if fins are too long, the fish struggles, and I don't want the fish to struggle.
Right. I had a double tail male and a black placat male living in the same 40 breeder simply because the double tail male couldn't catch anybody.
Ah.
And I had maybe 6 or 7 females in that 40 breeder. So
Mm-hmm.
the placat male was chilling. He was on about his business. He didn't worry about, the the double tail male because he couldn't catch anybody. I mean, he was just sitting in the plants.
Yeah.
And that was sad. That was sad. I had to end up taking him out and put him in a he was in a bowl, because he couldn't.
Sometimes, oddly enough, sometimes we have to put them in, like when they're old and they can't swim. Then, oddly enough, the bowl, like the male that I have with the tumor, he's in a little critter keeper. He's like in a gallon of water, but he can barely swim. He's super old, and that's like a good environment for him. But my worry right now they're doing the big half moon dumbos, but the dumbo fins are extra large, so you're having the full half moon, very long finnage, and the huge dumbos, and that really worries me because the fish that are being sold are still fairly young, so they've got the vigor, they still got the energy. You can see them kind of getting tired, but as they get older, it's going to be kind of rough for them. So personally, I don't think I would own a Dumbo unless it was a short fin Dumbo, because at least the rest of the fins would be short, and I'd be like, okay, it's not going to struggle as
Right.
much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, if I'm talking too much, let me know because I sometimes get chatty.
No, no, you're fine. Everybody's eating all of this up. This is very much needed. That's why I told, hey, for everybody that noticed, what did I call her? Better whisperer. And
I
she
do talk
said,
to my fish.
literal.
I've had many a conversations with my fish.
Oh,
All the
that's all
time,
right.
especially when they try to bite me. I'll be like, no. Like, I'll stick my hand in that tank with the Placidochromis, and they're kind of nice. Like, they won't actually try to bite. They'll bluff. they'll do that whole like I pretend I'm gonna bite you, but not really. And I'll be like, no, don't do that. I see you messing with me. I'm not your food. Please stop. Don't bite the hand that feeds.
And they say, okay, yeah, right. It's going down.
Ocelots will. Oh man, the ocelots will fight me, but I think that's why they're my favorite fish. Because I like how they're so cute, but so like really mean and angry, like tiny, tiny little like bulldogs that are
For
fish.
real. Let me see. So, do you on your site, what all do you have that you provide for somebody on here on the chat that may want to partake?
Ooh, at the moment, I'm not selling any Bettas, but I did finally start putting out new merch that's on the little shelf under all my YouTube videos. So I made I'm actually wearing it, the new creative pet keeping kind of. I'm still working on the logo, so it might change a little bit. But that's my wait, I'm pointing the wrong way. Placida chromis, and then it's reverse. There we go. Pointing. That's my betta. So I have my creative pet keeping shirts. I have a couple shirts and hats that just have the Placida chromis or just have the betta. So it's like if you want to enjoy my pets and kind of have some cool fishy swag to wear, then that is always under all of my videos in the little merch shop. But hopefully in the future, I hope to be attending all of the Greater Chicago Cichlid Association swaps, and they always get a booth. And besides selling fish, I'm also going to start trying to make some stickers that are of my fish and maybe some t-shirts and stuff. So I'll try to bring some fun stuff to sell that hopefully you guys will enjoy and you'll be happy about.
And we thank you. Oh, I'm doing great. Michael McBride, thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. Charlene Hill, thank you for visiting. Thank you for coming through and gracing us with your presence. Thank you very much.
We
Most
got
definitely.
lots of lovely people.
All the time, all the time. Crown Tail Half Moon says, how do you feed your green peas? Do you starve them for a day?
Oh, I will just because bettas are such little piggies. At least the ones I keep are little piggies. I will feed them the green pea, and then I will usually wait a day or two. But with the green pea, it's always instant. Like I would say, an hour or two later, they're gonna be pooping. Like very quickly, they're gonna be pooping, especially if they're swimming around a lot. So sometimes you don't even have to like not feed them for a very long time. The green peas work really, really quickly. That's why I really like them as even though they're not like an actual recommended diet because they're plant matter and it's a carnivorous fish, but it works as a medication. Ooh, I have wedding questions. Um, I have my civil marriage in November, so I married Daniel, but I haven't done my wedding yet. I haven't really picked a date, so I don't really know. And I don't know if I'll make a video because I kind of sometimes like to share. Like I shared my engagement, but I think like as I get older, I want to focus more on the fish on my channel because I feel like I don't know. I'm not that fancy part, so I don't know if it's like cool anymore to keep sharing. Like, do you guys want to see like a corny video of like a wedding? I don't know, unless it was a fish wedding, and I'm not gonna do a fish wedding.
Yeah, you breed. Hey, here's my pairing, and you're forcing those guys to the arranged marriage.
Oh my gosh. There's a really funny thing that happened in my fish club one time. Um, there one because since we bring Fry to get our BAP breeding points. One of our members brought his son like after he was born, so he was pretty young, and they were joking, saying that he bring him to for his little breeding point. They're turning him in, and they were like, for this to count, you need 6, so you're missing 5 more. And he was laughing.
Oh, he's like, well, I might not get my points.
Right? Like I want to be a master breeder with fish, not with humans. That'd be too much.
Hey, I almost made it all the way through the stream without digging in a tank, y'all.
Really?
I'm back. Yeah, I just had to scoop some hair algae right there. I'm back. I'm back.
It feels
See,
very very on brand.
hey, I had to do it. I've been seeing it out of the corner of my eye the whole time. I'm like, hey, stay focused, stay focused. Listen, she's feeling questions. Stay focused. And I'm
That's
like,
why
no,
my
I.
tanks are off. If they were on, I would be looking around. I'd be like, why is he swimming this way? Like, what are they doing? I'd be looking and checking on the fish.
Okay, I know you told me that you're on a small hiatus, but
Oh,
for you personally, who do you watch?
ooh, that's a good question. So, I'll explain the hiatus super quick in like a couple sentences. I won't go into a story, but um, I've been on YouTube for a long time, and when you're watching a lot of YouTube videos all the time of other YouTubers, you start to compare yourself a little bit. And I used to, if I had a topic that I would make a video about, and I saw someone else make the same topic, I would not want to put out a video, and that would kind of get to me. So I took a little break from everybody on FishTube. I like unsubscribed. I like the net that just came out. But I took a little break just so I can like focus on myself a little bit and build up my confidence again. And then I'll like resubscribe. But in terms of who I like to watch, that's a really good question because there's a lot of people I really enjoy. But I guess I guess Taylor from Simply Betta could be one that pops in my head just because I like how she's funny in her videos and how she just likes to just mess around and how she made that one April Fool's video where she made those little fish fillets that she cut up and she was like, how to cook your betta. And it was not real. It was just a joke, but she's like brave enough to like joke around and like do that. And I sometimes have ideas like that and I don't get brave enough because I'm always like, oh no, they're not gonna understand, they're gonna get mad. Because I've been
Oh,
wanting to do stuff like I've been wanting to get like a little like cop outfit so I can put on a wig and a mustache and be the Betta police and be the Betta police in my videos to make a skit. But then I'm just like, no, I would be so weird. Like people would be like, what is she doing? What is she? So it's like
no, that would be well received
I
because
don't
we
know.
we talk about the the Facebook better community on here so much. No, that will be received and understood. Trust me.
Well, I think that's why I look up to Taylor in that part because she's like brave enough to do these things. I'm like, okay, cool. I want to be brave to be silly because she's really funny.
Most definitely. I'm talking about the better police. I had an individual. I don't get many. I don't get many trolls, haters, blah blah blah. But I have this one. I blocked them. But I have a video up where I show a male and female better. You know, they're going through their little ritual. I'd already conditioned them with the little jar. That when I put them together, they're displaying. They're going around. And the female is very, very good looking. Very good looking female. Very good looking female. And I've had a couple of people like, man, you know, are those two males? And I'm like, just look, you know, you see the tube, you know, the egg tube down, blah blah blah. On the
Mm.
previous video where I had escaped her tank, so you could see this. She wasn't, you know, she wasn't displaying anything in the other video, so you could see it was a female. Well, this individual was just convinced I had two males, and I guess he was going about his business to try to discredit me or whatever, you know. And I'm like,
Oh.
why is this even like your motivation? What is,
Mm.
you know? But you know, and I blocked them. But you know, that's again talking about better police and things of that nature. Is like, what are you doing? Make some videos and put them on here, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
the better police are out there.
That's maybe that's gonna be me one day if I finally do it.
We'll be waiting on it. Hey, y'all, tell it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
That turned around because at the beginning when we were talking, I was cheering you on, and now you're
Yep, that's
cheering
what.
me up. That went full circle.
Yes, I was waiting for that door to open. I was like, yeah, let me turn it on. You can do it.
That's true. Maybe now that it's like out in the universe, now I have to like actually make it happen. And I mean, I guess if it's cringy, it'll still be funny, but cringy. And then we'll all laugh at it, and then maybe I'll never do it again. But
Isn't that the same thing? Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fishes. What's going on? And welcome in.
Also, the question, I didn't answer the question. What's the most difficult betta I've kept or bred? I haven't really kept any of the difficult like wild types yet, but I've never had luck breeding half moons. I've tried and I failed. So for now, oddly enough, I guess half moon is the most difficult for me. But I guess the most difficult fish is the fish you're always struggling with, and that's different for everybody.
Right. I have a question. Okay, how do you condition your water? Because speaking of the video that the guy had his own feelings about, they bred, the male didn't realize he had a nest, pretty good looking nest, but as he was depositing eggs, the nest was going away.
Oh.
And it never like clicked, hey, I need to be bolstering this nest, and the nest just was gone. And I know if I had a little more, but see, I use magnolia leaves, and if I had a little more tannins in that water, the viscosity would have been a little thicker.
But did you tape the leaf? Because I always tape the leaf to the side of the glass of the tank, so then the leaf can't go anywhere.
Oh, so it won't move. Okay.
Yeah, I use painter's tape. That's my like little cheat.
Gotcha.
And now,
I had never taped it.
Move. Yeah, if you tape it, it'll also help. If you're doing a small water change, as the leaf will go down or up, it'll help keep the leaf in one place so the bubble nest won't pop.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
that's the secret.
Gotcha. There you go.
Special secret. Tape your leaf.
There you go. I'll take that one. Bubble wrap works best. No bubble wrap.
Yeah, you can tape the bubble wrap to the tank too. Ooh, what herbal treatments do we use? I love Indian almond leaves for like everything. That and salt, aquarium salt, are my two go-tos. I will go to that first now. I used to go for the antibiotics first, but then I learned that when we end up doing our water changes, all those antibiotics are going into our water system. So they say it's not that good to constantly be dumping like medications down our drain, because that will make bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics, as well as in your tanks. If you use it too often, bacteria will build resistance. So I try to use Indian almond leaves and salt the most. And I know they could build resistance to salt too, so I don't go too crazy. But then if it doesn't work, then I'll try medications next. But usually those two, if a fish is young, if a fish is healthy, if the environment is okay, the fish will have a strong immune system and fight off a lot of issues. Because in the wild, they do that. And in the wild, there's all sorts of parasites and all sorts of diseases. And no one's going to like pour metronidazole in the Amazon.
In the wild, though.
Yeah, they got to they got to, figure it out on their own.
Have you ever tried magnolia leaves?
I don't think I have. I think I've tried oak leaves, banana leaves, and Indian almond leaves, but I don't think I have tried magnolia. I should add that to my list.
I got that from a Warrior Planet tank, Stephen Rollins. And I have a whole magnolia tree in my front yard. But he was telling me, he say, "Big bro, I'm gonna tell you a secret. They ain't gonna tell you. You got a whole magnolia tree out there. Try the magnolia leaves." And my God,
And it
That's
worked?
all I use now. Yes, that's all I use
Nice.
now. It's a very, very thick, dark green leaf. Ergo, once that leaf dries up, it's so thick, you still have all of this consistency as when you boil it and you make your extracts and things of that nature. I mean,
Mm.
it's concentrated. It's concentrated. It
Ooh,
works very
that's
good. I really, and I'm about the salt and the extract myself. It's I've I've not bought a catappa leaf like in who knows how long at this point.
ah. But I guess it's really good because like Indian almond leaves are not local here, so they're hard to get. So why not like try to find alternatives that are local and then can be like sustainably harvested,
Yep.
which is nice. Ooh, we got lots of question for new betas. What's your quarantine method and meds? At this point, I'll just jar and then you new betta and just keep it in a jar. That's gonna be my quarantine. Just like I would jar fish that are separated for a spawn, and I won't use medication unless I see something wrong with the fish. Because a lot of people that bring in fish will medicate them already. So I don't want to over medicate on top of that. And then I also don't. I want to just pretty much prevent me dumping as many medications, down my drain as possible. So I just observe. I just let my fish have quiet, alone time, away from bright light, away from any like commotion, and oftentimes that will work really well. But I'm also very selective when I do bring fish home. I will really look closely at them, and if the fish looks like there's anything externally wrong with it, I won't bring it, because I always get really paranoid that if I bring in a sick fish, I can get a lot of my other fish sick, which just happened before, and it's never fun when you bring disease into your fish room. It's really stressful. You could lose a lot of other fish. Ooh, we zoomed in.
Yes. Somebody asked me. Who asked me? Who was that? Oh, Crown Tail. Do I have any? Now, I don't have any unsoaked but
Ooh.
I just pulled this out of a tank. And this one, you see how thick that leaf still is? This
Mm.
leaf has been in my tank, a month.
Huh. That's pretty nice.
Magnolia.
I bet there's a lot of really good microorganisms on there that
Yes, you
fry
can see
would
them. You can see
eat
them
that up.
swimming right now. You just sit here and look in this tank and you can just see them vibrating through.
That's cool. The tiny world that feeds our little fish.
Yes. And that came out of a guppy tank right there, though.
Ooh, the baby guppies.
Yeah.
They'll munch on that. It's always exciting when nature like provides us with everything and then just takes care of it. Like when my bucket spawned, I just put a bunch of Indian almond leaves in there, let that kind of settle, and then in the bucket spawn, the fry for the first 3 days, I didn't feed them. They were feeding on all the little microorganisms and the leaves, and it was enough to sustain that humongous spawn because none of them like died. So it's cool.
Gotcha. I have had a 10-gallon tank with a little pile of leaves. You could see the infusorian cloud
Oh,
around the little area. You take a baster. I mean, a tank that's up and running, fish in and everything.
huh,
Take the baster,
cool.
suck out the infusoria, boom, jumpstart your culture right there. You're rolling. You're rolling.
The joy of Mother Nature, giving
Yes.
us all little bits that we need for our little fishies.
See, people, y'all getting the cheat codes tonight.
Yeah. So hopefully you can have happy experiences. That's like the really fun part about getting to talk to other fish keepers. Like when I go to my local fish club, I love it. We're always geeking out about like new stuff that like we've either observed in our tanks or we figured out or something we've struggled with. It's so fun. We get to be fish geeks together.
Right?
Mm.
Let me see. Oh, once the leaves are fallen and dried, do you just put them in a tank or boil to release tannins? I boil them regardless, but I do both in a sense of I'll make a jug because since I have a tree, I have limitless leaves. I'll make a big jug full of
Ooh.
extract, and then after I do that, I'll take the leaves that I poured that off of and use those in the tank. Every now and then I have some I just let re-dry and put them in a bag, but for the most part, that's how I do it.
Mm. That's cool. Do you have any like fish like clubs nearby you or anything that you go to? Because if you did, you could bring some.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, this is how it is here in Houston. As big as Houston is, we have a couple of clubs I belong to that oh we're not doing they started out doing the brick and mortars, but then when COVID came in, that's kind of kiboshed a lot of stuff, so we hadn't jump started.
Oh.
We had a better club that started on Facebook, but this last October, if I'm not mistaken, we actually had the second show, second sponsored show, but we don't have the full on club yet. That we
Ah.
just show up to a place and monthly meetings and we have swaps, and that's what I want to see. Renee, you hear that though? We might
Mm.
need to get together on trying to get something that we can do just consistently.
Yeah, because then you could sell your magnolia leaves and be the cool like provider of magnolia leaves, which can
Right?
help a lot. Because sometimes you can't get your hands on Indian almond leaves, and it's expensive sometimes to ship stuff. So that could be like a cool resource for local
And you
people.
can use the seed pods, Renee. You
Ah,
can.
that's useful. I like that.
Botanicals. Oh yeah. I may have to corner the market down here. Backwoods Aquarius says, so glad I jumped on tonight as this has been informative and fun. It's almost 1 a.m. Yeah, we're about to get off. We're about to get off. I normally run an hour because I understand. Plus, I have to go
we've
eat
got
also.
we've got our bread times.
I do understand. And thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you
It's
for coming
a
out.
pleasure. It's really fun. It's hanging out
And
with
this
fishy friends.
this has been every bit of what I expected it to be.
Oh, it
Most
makes me
definitely.
happy.
And I know everybody else ate it up. I could tell because they was throwing questions out there. You have received the most questions.
Oh, really?
Period. I'm somewhere around 100 episodes, and you have received the most questions. They were the most interactive with you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys were really awesome. We have a nice group, and I'm looking at in the corner. It says there's 22 people here hanging out currently, so that's cool. We've
But
got
this
we've got a
this
fun group.
late, yeah, for this late, and they coming though. They gonna guarantee to be here. That's why, again, I repeat, y'all.
Oh,
This is my last Friday for 4 weeks.
oh, I feel fancy. I made
Yes,
it.
my last Friday. I'm gonna have to figure out something. I'm gonna try to put the advertisement out early enough so y'all will be able to find it. Early, late, I have no idea because I'm on this new schedule at work, so it's all brand new to me. But I'm not gonna miss. I'm still not gonna miss a week though. I'm coming. So
just
y'all,
don't do random live streams like me.
now somebody might be at my door trying to like fight me or something. I don't want to cause no YouTube drama. Oh, well, hey y'all, thank you for coming through. Check out the replay if you came in late. I'm
Hmm.
gonna upload this probably tonight on my podcast for those people that drive trucks, work all night in warehouses, whatever you do, you can still catch this stream on podcast. Tell somebody you love them because somebody out there needs to hear it. And take care of
Oh.
those fish. We have.
Bye, guys. Thank you.